Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. What's happening? Thank you so much for tuning into Hyphenate Halftime for this Monday, January 30th, or something like that. Well, time is a concept, right, Mr. Aaron Farley, my co-host?
New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Yes. In the Western Hemisphere of California, Southern California, where we are not getting hit by, I found out just today from a neighbor that we're not supposed to be getting much weather at all this winter.
Okay. I can do no weather.
Because of the ocean is too warm down here. And so we're on the this is why everything is going up in Northern California, and up above is all getting hit with like rain and storms.
It's too warm here.
Insanity. And we're not getting it here, which is a bummer because I was hoping to go snowboarding a little bit.
No snow for us.
Over break. Yeah. I mean, Big Bear and Summit are open as far as I know. But that just means there's much less snow up there, especially now. I think up here it's like 47 degrees or something at night. So they can't even really make snow right now. And then it's 60 degrees during the day. So this means that the 10 million people that surround Big Bear, literally 10 million people that surround Big Bear and Summit, maybe even more. It's probably actually like 20 million. I would imagine like Big Bear and Summit probably pulls from like 15, 20 million. I don't know. San Diego, Orange County, LA, the San Gabriel Valley, San Fernando Valley, all the way up. All of those people are coming to snowboard on like 6 runs.
That's all the snow they can make?
Maybe 8, maybe 10 runs. I don't know. Towns and I went up once the opening weekend.
How was it?
And we knew. I mean, no, it's always fun. I mean, it's just you have to know how to relax and just get into the Southern California vibe of just like, man.
Whatever. Those are rocks.
There's a lot of people. I mean, not even so much about the snow, more about the people and the vibe. Because it gets very, it's exactly what you would think that Southern California snowboarding and skiing would be like. You got a lot of fashion. You got a lot of vibes.
Oh, you mean the attitudes of the people who enjoy the snowboarding in Southern California is different than other places in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you're in a place that is sunny all the time. It's crazy. So I don't think that there's anywhere else. There probably is in the world, but definitely in the United States, there's nowhere else like Big Bear. I don't think. What do you mean?
How so?
It's always sunny and blue sky. So where I grew up, like if you got 2 blue sky days, like if you went up, say 15 times in a year, you went up like every Saturday of the season. If you got a blue sky day, it was like 1 in 1,000 ever. It was foggy always. It usually didn't rain. I was in Eastern Washington. But it was windy or foggy or icy, or it was snowing, which it was snowing, awesome.
That's what you want. Yeah. That's what
but you still can't, like half the time if it's snowing, you still can't see, 40, 50 feet in front of you.
Is that good or bad? That's bad.
I mean, it's good for snow, but it's you go up
It's
and you're
tricky.
like, it's going to be fun no matter what, but it's harsh weather. And that's like, I mean, we used to go up sometimes where it would be like -10,
Oh
-5
God.
or 0. And we'd just go up just to see if we could do it. And there'd still be like
if your
500
tears would
people.
freeze in your
Yeah.
eyeballs, in your eye
You do like
sockets.
double jackets
Oh my God.
and you do the goggles, and then you had like a face mask, and then, the double hats, and you just freeze, but it was like, we did it. And then you'd go in and warm up for a little bit, then you'd go back out and freeze. And so that's how the majority of people grow up skiing and snowboarding. Like
Gotcha.
even Mammoth is beautiful and there's a lot of blue sky days, but when it's not blue sky, I've never had that much wind and insane, like being up at the top of the mountain and it's like 60 mph, like blow, like the chairlift stops because they're scared that it might, like if they keep it going, it's dangerous, it might fall off the tracks. And but Big Bear and Snow Valley and Summit is not that at all. You go up.
These are the Southern California snow runs.
Yeah. So this is, and Mountain High too. Mountain High is.
We got about five.
Right,
we got 5 or 6
we
different private places. I guess they're all private, right? But this is the idea that you pay to go up on the ski lift.
Yeah. They're all they're private, but for the public.
Gotcha.
Public areas that are paid for and are on the land, national park or national park land, not national park, but
state park, maybe.
Yeah,
got it. But somebody operates the lift.
National
You're paying for the lift.
Definitely. That's I mean, we have. Let's see, we have Mount Baldy.
Private lifts on public land. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Mount Baldy, Mountain High, Snow Valley, Big Bear, and Summit. And those are all within 2 hours of LA, which is pretty amazing because LA is at like 800 feet above sea level or something. And the top of Big Bear is 9,000 feet, I think. The top of Mount Baldy is 11,800. And you can get to Mount Baldy from Los Angeles in an hour and a half. You can go from 800 feet to the lift. I think the bottom of the lift is like 7,000, I think.
Oh my
It's
God.
crazy. Yeah.
And this awesome. Is in Southern California is roughly 40 million people, and about 10 of them know how to drive in the snow.
Oh yeah.
so this is the normal winter activity.
Yeah. But so the greatest thing is that normally you don't even have to drive in the snow because it's so high up that it is usually freezing at night. So they have tons of snowmaking. So even if it's not snowing during the year, as long as it's not a super drought and they have water in the little lakes, they can use that water to make snow. And then so the majority of the time, if it's below freezing, they're making snow. So half of Big Bear and Summit and Snow Valley is like, I mean, you call it man-made snow, but it's snow. I mean, I guess it's man-made, but it's not
machine-made.
It's not like it's fake snow or something.
It's not potato powder.
Yeah,
potato.
It's just really, it's these machines, these big, huge fans that take the water just out of hoses, out of these little lakes, and it makes them into this teeny tiny little particulates and sprays them from a fan, and then it just snows.
And it freezes once it hits the water or hits the ground. Wow.
Yeah. So
wow, I have learned so much about the mountain life.
Every day, almost every day, it's like even on a cold day at Big Bear, it still gets up to 40, and it's nice.
And
most people are up there in like sweatshirts, even in like January, February, and it's beautiful. Like every time we go up there and it's like 50 degrees and kind of slushy and it's just sunny out, I'm like, you guys don't understand. You don't understand the rest of the real world goes through to get like one day like this, or maybe
even our
2
winter
days.
is a fantasy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, my family was a beach family. My dad surfed and my brother surfed. But so in the winters, and we grew up in the Inland Empire, not far from the roads to get up to all these mountains. But we would take boogie boards with like the slick bottoms,
Yep.
like the soft or whatever smooth bottoms boogie boards, and just go drive up till we found a place off the road that kind of looked like a hill, or we saw other people sledding, I guess with giant quotes
on the highway.
Just sliding down the hill. And we'd usually do that once a year, but we'd go up in like jeans and a t-shirt, and then just ride a boogie board down a hill, and then usually hit our heads on rocks or something, and then kind of get run over or like cut ourselves up pretty good, come back with cuts that cut through the pants, and something when you like fall off the boogie board and then just slide on your chest or ass across gravel and go, okay, I'm good.
Well, the first snow weekend, now living up here up in the mountains, the first snow weekend is just the worst. And I love that everybody loves coming up sledding, and I'm not like nothing bad about
you're the Grinch
that at all. No, not at all. It's more that there is nowhere else for people to go. Like there's a ton of mountains that get snow, but most of them you can't get anywhere near. And then the couple that you can get near to, there's only one road, and it's the same road that everybody has to use to go to like snowboarding or skiing, or even just to like get to Big Bear.
Yeah.
Is the same road with 2 lanes that, like you said, 10%, or not even 10%, 1% of Southern California, which is still like 1 million people, is trying to go up just to find a place to park on the side of the highway to sled directly into the side of their car.
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of kids that like we're driving, and I'm like, you guys should not be walking on the highway with your kids. Like this is a highway.
This is like it's like the freeway.
50 miles per hour. Yeah. And there's rocks, like you said, there's like rocks falling because it's Southern California. It snows like, even on a crazy winter, it snows like 10 or 15 days a year, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so what that does is it loosens all the rocks, and then there's rock slides. And then people are like jammed their cars into the highway, so then people are trying to pull out, and it just stops traffic for like our local place to us now, Snow Valley, is 30 minutes with no traffic. Sometimes it takes 2 hours to get there.
Oh yeah.
Or back.
Just because everybody's there.
And you're just looking, and that's where the that kind of Zen kind of like, you know what? Just make sure you have enough gas in the car and some snacks, and you know that your house is only 15 miles away, and it's going to take you an hour to get there. Just like the old days of living in LA.
LA has come to you now.
Yeah.
You thought you could leave it.
Well, it just only happens like 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah. I think Disneyland has trained a lot of people in Southern California that just, crowds and lines and waiting is just part of any fun experience. Means you just got to wait in line for hours at a time. I think we have a whole sort of Disney culture in Southern California that if is it fun? Yeah. Great. Or did you wait 2 hours in line? Of course I did. Did you pay $75 for a hot dog? Of course you did. Great. This is
I also waited an hour to get there also.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Or we had to leave at 4 a.m.
Paid $40 to park.
Yeah.
And then, Yep.
Leave at 4 a.m., pay $40 to park a little bit closer, so you only have to wait 30 minutes to get in. I mean, that's the thing, even up here. I mean, but also the I know Disneyland now is like $200 for a ticket or something, right?
Yeah.
Probably $225.
Depends on the day. It's a flexible price depending on how many people are going. They can raise or lower the prices if they need more or less people.
Okay. Yeah. Flex pricing. That's nice.
Yeah.
But then
then you can also pay more to get in, or to actually get on the ride. To bypass the line.
Yeah, like, oh wait, you actually want to go on the lines?
Oh, you're not just here to sit around.
Yeah. No, that's a whole different. That's a different price point, my friend.
Yeah.
You're
one of those people. I see. Come to the music park to go on the rides.
Oh, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the bathroom price.
Yeah,
the bathroom pass.
Well, the water.
There's extra nicer bathrooms if you pay more, and then because they'll always have public bathrooms. But if you want the real good bathrooms,
the bathroom pass.
Yeah, the one that isn't filled with overflowing diapers, then you got to pay extra for that too. It's coming. It's everything. It's everything.
I mean, the $5 water. I do think that there should be a minimum for water wherever you go. Like, you should, no matter what.
Well, there's water fountains.
There's 2. So the last time I went to Disneyland,
technically, yeah, you're correct. However, those are free.
It was California. I went to California Adventure. I wasn't at Disneyland.
I don't know where those.
But I was like, come on, there's got to be water fountains. There's like, oh yeah, there's 2. Like there's one over on that side,
on the back of the park, and then the other back of the park.
Yeah. And you can fill. It has a bottle fill up station. You're happy to do that, but you will be walking all the way across the park. The next
and you'll be thirsty.
Get thirsty,
and you'll be thirsty when you get there. So good news.
By the time you're waiting one of the lines, and you're like, oh, my water bottle. I didn't bring my 64-ounce, like my backpack full
Camelback.
My Camelback.
Yeah.
I do think more water fountains. Like the lack of the big water has definitely made water fountains like a dirty word. Like, ugh, water fountains. Kids won't drink from the water fountain at school, even though it's a nice new one. It's filtered. It's everything. They're like, ugh, no, I don't drink. I don't drink from water fountains.
But they bring water bottles. They bring reusable water bottles.
Oh, they buy them at school.
Oh, they buy them. Okay.
They bring them, but they also.
Our kids have never gone a day without some kind of water carrying device. Every day of their school, every day of their preschool, and then out through school, like they have. And I mean, growing up, it's like we would have a canteen. Like if you went to an Army surplus store, you get one of those round canteens, like a flask sort of shaped canteen. Like, okay, I got some water. But I never had to think about that, But now, we have the large things with the straws and the silicone and the things, and they all turn into like molds eventually. But it's
and they cost $40 a piece. They cost a year's worth of water. Like that's, I think what water used to cost per person when we were kids was how much one canteen now costs. That they lose every once a month.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah, you always lose them.
Like 3 of those get left in my classroom every day.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But Ryder has to put a sock on his now because the 5th grade teachers aren't having it. You have to put a sock around your water bottle because they don't want to hear them clinking and clanking and putting on the desk all the time. So the teacher requires a sock to go over it. So we fill every morning, 5 days a week, we fill up his water bottle. Put a big old sock around it. Looks like a weird kind of floppy condom kind of hanging off. Like
what a weird world we live in.
Send them to school. It's great. It's a different world. Oh, I was gonna say my favorite thing with the crazy pricing of things. Like and again, these are all great problems to have, right? What we call first world problems, or these are luxury problems, right? But we went with my mom to go see the Rolling Stones for, I don't know, I think this was our 8th time.
Yeah.
And to see them live, Rolling Stones play live at the SoFi Stadium, the big football stadium here in LA. And parking was $100. That's just general parking.
$100?
$100 just to park anywhere. But the guy, and God bless him, I think they were awesome. The guy kind of was like, okay, yeah, it's $100. I was like, but if you got cash, we could do 80. And I was like, okay, that's something, and so, but we had to but he's like, okay, you gotta put it like this, and I'm going to give you this, and we kind of did a different kind of handshake. And then we ran into a friend later that evening, and I was like, wow, what about that parking? He's like, oh yeah, I gave the guy a joint, and it was only, he only charged me $40. I gave him a joint that I had pre-rolled, and and then just gave the guy $40, so we were good. I was like, oh, okay, that's there's always a way around these things.
Mom, give him the weed.
Come on, Mom, don't bogart those joints.
Yeah, come on, give him the mushrooms, Mom. How'd you know, Randy?
Oh, I'm gonna get you.
You could tell I was on mushrooms.
That was so funny. But yeah, that's
how was the show?
Oh, this was, was this a year ago? No, I don't know. Okay. This was almost a year ago. Yeah. It was amazing. Yeah. We were on the floor. We weren't in the front pit. There's, these things are so big. It's because you're on the football field, right? So we were in the back, the end zone of the other team while they were the end zone,
Yeah.
So we were like a football field away, literally. And And they sounded great. It was fun. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
You know, it's I think we watched some sporting event and we're like, oh yeah, that's where we were. That's where we were standing. We're basically standing in like, you know, the 20-yard line, and then they're on the goal line of the other team. Yeah, it's insane. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Old dudes rocking out. Speaking of old dudes rocking out,
yeah,
not so old dude David Pajo was a guest last week. What? Were you familiar with Slint?
Oh yeah,
had you? Yeah.
I was so excited when you announced, because you hadn't told me who.
Oh right, yeah. It was our special Christmas gift.
Yeah, it was a huge gift. I love it. I have a very similar. I feel like a lot of people have similar Slint stories. That I had a similar story to you where I had like a friend of mine, Bill Zacapaico, had Spiderland. I'm assuming it must have been on vinyl, and he played it, and it was just like, what is this? I don't even know. Like it was so different from anything that I had heard that I was like, it just, the name just burned itself into my brain.
Yeah.
And so it was that, but it was funny that you brought up Blonde Redhead, because it was the same thing. He also had a Blonde Redhead record, and the same thing I heard, I don't know, it was a 7-inch or something. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to forget the name of that band either. So both of those bands were like in my head, but I didn't know if they were big bands or if they were small bands, or I didn't know. So when I went home from college, I went to like the local, we didn't have like a border. It was like a bookstore / music place, but it was split in half. So it was books in the back, and then it was a huge like albums and everything in the front. And I went looking for those bands, and they were like, I don't know what, we don't,
doesn't come up in our
these are not
system.
in our system.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh
You're
man, maybe I got the names wrong, or
yeah.
whatever. And it took me a while to find Spiderland, and then I finally found it. And it was one of those records that just listened to it over and over, and it was like, I don't even understand really why this is good. You know, like it was so different from everything. And then finally, like, I think that like that type of music then opened my ears to a lot more different kind of, because before that, I think I was actually similar to David in that I grew up like the heavy music I listened to was metal. So I listened to Metallica and Megadeth and Motorhead and anything that was kind of post Led Zeppelin, and then metal. But I didn't really listen to kind of punk, and I didn't listen to angular weird. I didn't even listen to like David Bowie and the weird side, Talking Heads, or anything like that was kind of weird post punk or punk.
Sure.
So I didn't have a lot of that. I'm like, what's this? It's kind of slow, but it's also heavy. But the guitars are really thin, but then they're distorted, but they're still thin. I don't know what this sound is. This is the weirdest sounding music. So it was great to hear you and to hear him go, oh, I love people's first experience with Slint stories. Because it mustn't really be a thing, because it was such a weird band.
I'm sure people tell him too. Like, obviously I told him, I mean, it's that kind of feeling like, oh man, I have to tell you how I heard your band. Like, I don't care how you heard my band. Like, okay. But he's nice enough to be like, oh, well, please, I would like to hear how you heard my band.
Yeah.
They broke up 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious. But I think it just goes to like the singularity of that band. And I like that he was able to cop to it, that they were trying to not sound like anything else.
Yeah.
You know, because it would be the only way for, I think, it to really make sense, because I think, you know, you can find seeds of that type of thing, and obviously the influence, the trail that it left behind in some ways, you know, is they're an influential band. But where does that sort of singularity come from? You know, I think it made sense. They were trying to play anti-music or anti-guitar, you know, sort of playing in something in this kind of minimalist way that still had tension and aggression that was sort of like prevalent of the time, you know, in that kind of post metal alternative, sort of world, which I think, Touch and Go and AMREP, maybe to some degree as well, that sort of had a corner of the world that was maybe college radio, you would kind of say, or college radio music, like that would go on to become alternative post hardcore punk. And, instead of going, a lot of punk bands went, it was like a metal sort of crossover thing, because metal was the thing in the late 80s. And then by the 90s, would eventually then become recategorized after the explosion of Nirvana. But between 86 and 91, there's pockets of just sort of outsider music, for lack of a better word, I guess, or like,
or you have like Melvins, which would be considered metal, but then they were like, but we're going to play really slow.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's going to be our, like, sure, we're heavy and we're metal, but our thing is that it's going to be slow.
Right.
They're like, it's simple enough. And it also, and everyone's like, what's this weird slow, it's metal band that's slow. Right. Okay. I'm in.
But different than what would go on to become like slow core, which, or this type of, like low or codeine or something, in these kind of ways of I don't know.
They were also funny. I love that too, that thinking of that with Slint, and he never really, I guess he talked about it, but the fact that they were like 15, right? 14, 15 or something.
I think maybe a little bit older than that.
But when they started, I think maybe when Spiderland, but I feel like they were like that documentary, they were really young.
Okay.
Way younger than I thought. Maybe they were in college. I don't know.
Yeah. It seemed like it was probably just after high school.
Just, maybe it was after. Maybe that first band
they probably all looked really young. Yeah, I think the other bit,
because they were still like playing in the. I feel like in that movie, or in the documentary that came out, that they were like, a lot of that footage was from one of their mom's houses, like one of their parents' houses or something.
Yeah,
anyway,
makes sense.
to have that like thing to be like, ugh, I don't like punk. It's kind of boring. This music is bad. Whatever. We're going to make this thing that's different. And then for that to actually work, like to make something super unique that actually works. And because you're trying to be against everything else, like literally everything else that everyone else likes.
Anti-everything.
You're like anti-everything. And then you still make an album that is, that Spiderland, I don't think has a bad track on it.
No.
I think front to back, it's kind of perfect.
Well, I think it wrote a type of sort of musical vocabulary too that would be copied and almost or ingrained. You know what I mean? I think that it sort of blazed a trail in some ways that would then just serve as jumping off points for so many other bands after it. You know what I mean? Where there's that type of angularness or those tension filled sort of long sort of piece, like pieces of music that would then explode into something else or sort of go sideways or,
totally
just keep you on your toes or off kilter.
And I guess at that same time, like the Pixies kind of had that. They had the slow, fast, like the heavy,
loud, quiet,
quiet, kind of like twangy guitars too, that influenced a lot of people. So I guess maybe that kind of angularness was there already as a non-music historian.
That's pretty, we should give that warning. Yeah, neither of us are professional music historians.
No, that's the best part about this show. We're also not
professional
anything. Yeah, conspiracy theorists or anything. But I did like him talking about, was it Firehose
or Minutemen?
Minutemen. That he was like that's also another one of those bands that really does seem like when people heard Minutemen for the first time, they were like, what? Wait, what is this? It's not like the Red Hot Chili Peppers crazy funk weirdness, but it also kind of is. And it's not anything heavy punk, but then if you listen to the lyrics, it kind of like has those things.
Political song from Michael Jackson to sing.
and it's bouncy and weird and no, that's punk. Oh, yeah. Oh, this can be punk. Yeah. No, that's fine. it's actually going to be one of the most seminal punk bands that no one ever sounds like. Like no one sounds like the Minutemen.
But I think, they sort of gave that permission, I think, in a lot of ways to just do what you want to do. Like if this is considered, not in a pejorative way, but if this can go, then anything can go. If they can do this, then I can do anything.
Totally.
Or I could, fly the flag for, whatever I'm feeling. That's sort of I think we've come to, develop these terms of like holding space. This was the type, I think a Minutemen was a band like that sort of held space for the weirdos. Like, you can be weird and make music, and can call it punk. You can call it anything you want. You can have little bursts or long things, and it doesn't have to be hardcore or shaved head, white boy sort of aggression.
Yeah, like that it can
other kind of thing.
It can be its own like it's really an attitude that can be used for any kind of individual weirdness.
Yeah. And I think Mike Watt has done such a good job in kind of his post-Minutemen career and sort of presence in the culture of sort of holding that down, that corner, and representing that, and and not
totally.
I think as he's evolved and obviously matured into the musician and sort of cultural figure that he is, but he's always held the Minutemen up to as that sort of place of high standards. Like he never disavowed his early stuff, which again, as you do, it's like you're a kid. They were 15, 16-year-olds starting out, the Minutemen, and this sort of thing, this early life. And as you grow and change, it's an easy thing to kind of be like, well, I was just a kid, I was messing around. But I think Watt always takes it, as gospel. Those were those days, and this is why it mattered.
Yeah, and it still matters today, and because he's still. I mean, you look at those old Watt interviews, and he's still like the same guy. I mean, he's still doing that same, like the man with the van and the whole thing of like, no, it's like DIY till you die.
Kano.
Yeah. And I think that's amazing. I think that listening to, I was trying to think if I had heard an interview with David before, and I don't think I had heard just like a long form interview. I'm not sure, but the fact that he was like, went into his story going into Zwan is amazing.
I really wanted to get that down. I know it could probably be embarrassing, and I know he doesn't necessarily talk about that a lot, but I was very curious about that. And obviously I'm a I don't know what's the right way to say it, a Billy Corgan observer.
Enthusiast?
Not necessarily enthusiast. Obviously, there's a lot about Smashing Pumpkins I've liked and a lot I've disliked.
Yeah.
But I think Billy Corgan as a cultural figure is somebody who is fascinating and repulsive in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So I was curious how that whole thing worked, because it seemed
kind of a perfect. Sorry. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. That Zwan thing seemed like a very kind of on its face sort of bid for like indie credibility.
Yeah.
For Billy Corgan post major label sort of like explosion and whatever his career was as the band, as Smashing Pumpkins broke up, and they used to, like, maybe I can install myself in some other place. Like, hey guys, I'm one of those, like the meme of Steve Buscemi holding the skateboard, like, hello kids. It's like, you're the skateboard. You've been on MTV for 15 years. Like, you can't just now be like the underground guy. Like, you can't go interloping.
No, it's cool, man. I just want to get back to my roots and play clubs. No, it was James Iha also in that band, or was it just Zwan? Billy Corgan?
No. So Zwan was, as far as I can remember, I haven't done any proper research, but it was Billy Corgan and Jimmy Chamberlain, the drummer from Smashing Pumpkins, and then Paz from she's kind of session bass player, touring bass player for so many bands. I think probably the popular thing she's been in was the band The Perfect Circle, which I think did have James Iha. So maybe that's that connection happens. But and then David Pajo and Matt Sweeney from Chavez, on guitars. So I think it seemed like it was a thing where Billy Corgan wanted to get some kind of thing going and probably reached out to Matt Sweeney from Chavez, and he was probably able to broker something of relevance, which it seems to be.
Who knows everyone?
He's done. I think that's the idea. Yeah, that he's sort of the connection, the guy.
Like, build me a band.
He can do that.
Wait, so Paz, she was also in.
She was an entrance band. I don't know if you remember Guy. She was in that band for a while.
I have actually one of my favorite photos of a bass player playing. It was her playing with the entrance band at the Eagle Rock Rec Center.
Oh wow, yeah.
And
they were amazing. Like, entrance band was insane.
That what's the big song is has the best riff ever.
Oh, I should have Guy on. He'd be a good guest.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. And his first band before entrance band was
Universal Armageddon Universal Armageddon.
Was he in that? Oh,
no,
okay.
Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was. I could be wrong.
Oh man, it's gonna pop into my head. But okay. I had seen him in that band first, right when I moved to LA, and then entrance band was awesome. I love that.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Paz got kicked out from ATP one of the years that we played because she climbed like the tent. There was this like giant kind of like circus tent sort of thing, like over the fairgrounds or whatever, the campground area. And I think before they played, I think she took LSD and climbed the outside of it all the way to the top, like going to 40, 50 feet in the air, and kind of got stuck. And everybody like noticed she was there, and so they had to call the police and fire department and medical people to get her down off of there. And I think they got kicked out. I don't think they were able to play that year.
Okay, well, you know, just sometimes you got to take those risks.
That's the lifestyle.
I feel like. Am I wrong to say that she plays in the Pixies now?
Maybe, yeah. That could be right.
I think
she played with them at some point, but maybe she's Like I say, I mean,
awesome.
She's
amazing.
She's been in a million things, done it all.
I didn't know she was in Swan.
But she was on Swan, so whatever the song. But yeah, I remember they had a music video that was very kind of like, we're just kids skating in the summer, you know, or whatever the Billy Corgan kind of vibe was. Like, just going to wear beanies and scarves, and it's light and fluffy, and isn't this great? And
I just love that
guitars and things, and it's like, okay.
Billy Corgan is a huge wrestling fan.
Uh-huh.
He's a huge like WWE guy.
Yeah, he owns
a
wrestling promotional company. Yeah,
amazing. It's just makes a lot of sense. I think.
I have no idea. It's the kind of thing where like I've asked people who've met him like, what's he like, or what's this, or what's that, and I think he's different people to different people. I think he's
okay.
You know what I mean? But as best as I can tell, though, it's always about him. As long as everything's about him, he's good. If it ever
makes sense.
Seems to not be about him, then there's a problem.
It seems so. It did make when he said like he's like, listen, I'm not here to talk bad about Billy Corgan.
Sure.
But he's like, even though he said some horrible things about me in the press. And I was like, oh my God, wait, I got to go look some of this up. I never did.
You didn't. Oh yeah. Okay. We should definitely do that.
Yeah. Eventually we should do that. Speaking of press though, that new Papa M record is amazing. I listened to it right after the interview. Oh my God. I had listened, when he brought it up, I was like, oh right, Papa M. And I went back and listened and forgot how weird, for some reason in my head, it was like, oh, this is kind of acoustic or kind of a stripped down kind of folksy kind of stuff. And then when I listened, that first track on the new record is just like a freak out instrumental, like mind blowing, weird freak out psychedelic instrumental. And then, I just sat and listened to the whole record while I was trying to figure out how to clean my garage.
Oh man.
Like I was building some shelves, and I was like,
all right, this is good.
Throwing stuff away, and
dad relatable content.
Yes. Yeah. And it's great. It's great. It got me in the headspace to like not think so much and just like get the work done. But no, there's some great, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's all over the place, but then, it's like the next song has vocals and it's more of a singing a tune. And then there's more freak out. Yeah, it's great. It's amazing. The instruments are amazing. And He's when he said that he recorded the whole thing himself, played everything, and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I found some, according to Stereo Gum, February 22nd, 2017, headline: David Pajo, Billy Corgan is a bully who scolds his fans, obsesses over White Stripes album sales. Pajo tore up Corgan in a new interview with Creative Control podcast, where he states that Smashing Pumpkins frontman is not so different than Donald Trump. Pajo cites Corgan's bully mentality and says that Corgan can very convincingly front that he's a sensitive liberal person. Now that Trump's made it okay not to act like that for people like Corgan, he's going to start shouting that. Yeah, let's see here. It just said that Pajo of Slyn and Billy Corgan once performed together in a supergroup Zwan, and ever since the two have trashed one another as often as possible.
Oh, that's great.
Apparently, even now, no love has been lost. So I think that's fun. I mean, again,
it should be that way. Music or the industry, not music, the industry. This is how the industry runs. It's like you got Oasis and Blur, and you've got this is how all hip hop runs its course to keep the gears going.
Yeah, well, again, getting back to the wrestling, sort of analogy. I think that in some ways this is all part of the thing. The feuds are what promote both people.
Yeah, you got to have the heel.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that sort of stuff. I think that's what Billy Corgan's good at doing, is keeping his name in the press and keeping himself inserted in things, even if he has no relevancy to them, which I think would be the biggest sort of thing, is that the being, fading away or being forgotten or considered a relic or a legacy act or something, that sort of stuff is just the death of his ego. So it's sort of that feeling of okay, well, as long as he can continue with, all press is good press. There's no such thing as bad words about him. So,
well,
even now we're giving air to it.
Those first two records are more popular than ever right now.
Who's that?
The first two Pumpkins records.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All kids, young kids know those songs, those big songs, and it's super popular, and it's
hilarious.
And I like those songs. I don't know. Those first couple records are amazing. Despite Billy Corgan's
rage.
Despite all my rage. I remember, speaking of cleaning things, I remember it being in college, and my one of my jobs was to be on the cleaning crew of the basketball arena at Washington State in Pullman, and so after all the after the basketball games, we had to crew, and we'd sweep up and puke, and it was horrible. I mean, whatever. It was
that kind of job. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was one of those jobs. But the best part about the job was that the guy who was running the crew had access to the sound system, and he would bring his CD player, and he would hook his CD player up through the sound system.
Oh, wow.
And he would make these mix CDs, and they'd play it through the the whole crazy system at the
That's amazing. Well, sorry
yeah,
there.
They would play it through the whole sound system and everything.
Dying.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, my whole system just froze. I was like, "Is Randy still alive?" I can't tell.
I'm fine. The songs of the giant stadium sound system. It's huge.
Yeah, so then that was that. It would have been 1979. So whatever song that, I think it was that. Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in the cage. And he just blast that, and then whatever else. I don't even remember. That's honestly, that's the only song I remember. Whenever I hear that song, I think of cleaning up puke in a good way, in a fond memory, fond way.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Funny. Yeah. No, I mean, David's, get back to David though, he's done so many things, so many projects, and been so many bands. And I was stoked to talk about his time in Stereo Lab.
Oh yeah.
And and then in Tortoise as well. I mean, there's just, you know, I mean, I feel like you pick any year between, you know, 92 and 2010, and anything he was doing would be epic. It'd be enough of a career there. But he's done, you know, we've just done it over and over and over again. It was his time in the in the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. He was a touring member before Ahmad Wasif, like kind of extra guitar. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He was playing with them when we opened a few shows for them, and he was on stage with them, just doing all the extra stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah, that I think Nick Zinner does. You know, layer up stuff in the studio, and then need an extra set of hands to play it all live.
Yeah,
because if you look at that band, Yeah Yeah Yeahs is essentially like a 2-person musical. You know, it's just drums and guitar.
Yeah,
and then a singer, you know, on top of it. But in terms of all the music stuff, I think Nick's holding down a lot, or triggering, or playing, trying to recreate a lot on stage. And so I think having an extra person or 2 or 3 or 4 is probably needed for what they do live.
Definitely. I mean, it's amazing that when he talks about it, even how lucky he was. He's like, well, you know, it's kind of lucky, you know, I just like met the people from Stereolab, and when we were at Lollapalooza, and, you know, they just needed someone. I'm like, I don't think it's luck. I don't think you luck into that many great, amazing bands.
Yeah.
They're just like, I don't know, man. It just keeps happening, you know? It's like, it's just, I just, you know, I don't know. But even his vibe of that, of like, honestly, I just wanted to swim at the Chateau Marmont, and I ended up getting hired to be in Zwan. I don't know. And I didn't even get to go swimming. So it's a bummer.
It didn't even work.
I was kind of bummed.
Yeah, but
it's so funny.
Yeah. I think it's very much, he has that kind of Zelig or like Forrest Gump sort of indie rock sort of life. You know what I mean? You just go like, oh yeah, wait, is that David Pajo in this video of this band playing? Like, oh yeah, wait, is he there again?
Yeah.
See, wait, how did he get over there?
Yeah. Why is his whole like his whole credits are so long, and nobody knew any of it. You know, he's like that. Even when he was talking about all the bands, I'm like, how were you in all of those bands? I was listening to all of those bands, and I had no idea.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It was the secret sauce.
Amazing.
He was there for so much of it.
Did you see any of the Slint reunion shows?
I didn't.
Me neither.
I saw them play. There was Britt and David play some songs for Lance Bang's birthday. I think Lance helped make that documentary.
Yeah.
And Lance had a birthday party at the silent movie theater, and they played some songs, but I didn't go. I don't know why at that point. I think maybe I was deep in the throes of little kid town. Yeah. There was a few years there when, you know, when it stopped being fun and started getting real. Like, oh wait, I have to feed this baby all the time. Yeah. I don't sleep ever. I thought that was just for a couple months or for the first year. Like, oh no, now we're year 5, and then wait, we have another baby. I'm doing this all over again.
I'm still getting up at 3 a.m.
from probably just so first year it was like okay, it's still working. Then by the second year, so probably by 2014 to 2020 was kind of all a blur. About 6 years there. And then the pandemic happened, and then that was an extra blur. So I mean, I definitely missed out on a lot of stuff, or things I'd be like, oh, of course I would totally be there. Like, I'm like, oh, where was it? Like 2017, 2016, 15. I got nothing. I don't know. There was
no idea.
I think I went to Costco. I think I bought some diapers.
I remember not sleeping, and that kept me from remembering all of the other stuff because I was so tired.
I think our house flooded. We remodeled our entire house and lived in an apartment with a 2-year-old. I think that lasted probably only a year, but it seemed to feel like that's a big black hole. Yeah. And then we started Rat Fist. That was fun. We toured. Yeah. We did that. Yeah. And it's kind of, it was a weird echo of a band. Did that really happen? Did we really? Yeah,
that was real. I was there. I was there for 2 shows.
You shot some photos? Yeah. Yeah. I did that sometime around that time. And then, I don't know. And I started this podcast. I think that's how that worked. 2015 to now. I think there were some No Age records in there somewhere too. But.
The lost years. A couple lost years. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, your little ones are now past the kid zone into the teen years, right? Are they both teens?
Yeah.
2 teenagers?
Yeah. Lila's driving.
Oh my Lord.
So she's now it's all like, Dad, can I drive? And the first couple of months were like, you can.
Driving mean like she has her license. It's not a permit thing.
No, it's permit. So permit. We still have to be in the car,
but
it's been like
all she can think of.
And like nervousness of me just being like, okay,
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh God. Don't just be calm. It's fine. Everything's good. And then I think today or yesterday was one of the first times where I was just sitting there and I was like, I forgot she was driving. I was like,
hey,
okay. I don't have to tell you. I'm like, okay, you can't take this corner at 45.
Your fingernails weren't dug into the the dash in front of you.
Okay, we're hitting a tree. My windows are hitting the tree branches.
This is how we die. Thank you. That was a good life.
To the left. Yeah, so she's that, and then Towns is 13. So but he'll be 14 in a couple months. So
yeah, so it's a very different ball game. But I imagine, yeah.
Yes, very
it's
different.
It's not easier,
but
also it's different.
It just goes faster. It's like all of a sudden
it goes 45 miles an hour into a curve. All the time.
100%. Yeah, all of a sudden you're like, wait, that means college is a year and a half away. I think, okay, how does that work?
How is this small person ever going to know how to do that?
Yeah. Or also, how am I going to even be in college?
Huh? What?
It seems like I was just in college.
Oh my God! Yeah, how can we both be in college at the same time? That doesn't make any sense, bro.
I'm still young enough. Let's go hang out, bro.
Yeah, I saw the best meme. Old. It was like there's like this kid born in like 2000 that says he's 25, but how does it make any sense? Because I'm 25.
Yeah, right.
You can't be born in 2000 and be 25. It's only 2005 right now. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You'd be 5 years old.
I know. I saw another one that was like, congratulations, in 2 days. You will be as close to 2050 as you were to 2000.
That's great.
Yeah. Thanks, internet. Thanks, the internet.
Thank you.
Always bringing me down.
2050. So what are we? How old am I? 70 at that point in 2050?
Are we still around?
Right.
I think so.
If I was born in 81, so in 51, that's 51 plus carry the 2.
I'll be 74.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That happen. That could happen.
I know some 74-year-olds. They seem to be doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
Still moving around. Still like going to the store and stuff. Driving. They're still driving.
Still yelling at people. Telling them get off the roads.
They're getting ready to retire because they haven't been able to save enough to retire until they were almost 80. It seems normal, right?
Yeah.
Remember when retirement age was 55?
That's not true. Was that a thing?
60? Like when we were kids, 65. I feel like people would
55
retire when they were 60, 65.
That
seems I don't know anybody. I mean, almost everyone that I know. We live around a lot of older people up here.
Oh, I see.
Kind of in a retirement community, a little
snowbirds. Yeah.
And half of them are in their 70s, still working full time.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I'm like, man,
I kind of imagine that. I've never really thought about retiring. I guess I'd have to
retiring at 65. It seems like wow, what would you do for like, assuming you make it to 80, what'd you do for like 15 years?
Play golf?
I guess. How do you save up enough money for 15 years of just hanging out? I don't know how you do
that's the truth. I don't think, I think you work. I think you become a greeter at Walmart.
Yeah. I don't think you do. Yeah.
I think if this cough keeps going, I don't know, got 15 more minutes. I'll have 15 more years. Oh my God. I'm dying. I'm going to go ahead and
this was Randy's last podcast.
God damn it. All right. Well, I should probably go cough up a lung.
That's fine. You got a lot of editing to do. You need a cough button.
Oh my God. To add more coughs in.
Yeah. So like you just put all your coughs on my mic. Like, God, Aaron, why are you coughing so much? It's crazy.
Oh my God. Well, just when you think you're feeling better and you can get through something, it's just like
never.
It's the kids or something. I went somewhere and did something.
It's just life.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, my brother was asking me. He's like, "Are you sick?" I was like, "I don't know. I have little kids." It's like every 3 months, the sickness gets worse, and then it gets. I'm like in a 3-month cycle of like, oh, that was terrible. And then now, oh, I'm kind of better. Like, oh, no, here it comes. It's coming back on. It's coming. That was terrible. And, oh, I'm kind of feeling a little better. Oh, I'm feeling worse.
Yeah. I don't remember not feeling kind of sick.
Right. And kind of like just stuffed up. I feel
like just a little.
I've had nasal. Yeah. The last time I saw the doctor, he's like, oh, you seem kind of congested.
You're like,
always.
Okay. So what do I do about it? Like,
what does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is just stop being congested?
Like, could be allergies. And he's like, well, there's fall allergies now. Like, there's spring allergies. It's like, well, it's like, no, you can have allergies year round now. It's warm all the time. So
yeah, you're like, you're the doctor, aren't you supposed to know this stuff? He's like, we don't really know that much. Yeah. Listen,
you sound great. Good job.
You want some medicine? What do you want? What ads have you seen on TV lately? Tell me what you want. I got all that stuff.
Ozempic? You need some Ozempic?
Any of that? Any of those things on TV, man? I can write you up for that right now. Big bucks.
There we go. No whammies. All right. Well, I hope you have a great New Year's Eve. I know you guys always go wild on New Year's.
Oh man, party time. Excellent.
Yeah. I will be in bed by 8:00 on New Year's. Is my prediction.
Yeah, I haven't
some pots and pans for East Coast New Year's.
Yes, totally. I always do East Coast New Year's.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best invention ever. Like, wait, we just celebrate 3 hours early. Even that, it's like what, 9? Is it 9, 10, 11, 12? Yeah, 9. That's hard. Some don't even hit that.
Yeah, I don't think that I haven't stayed up past midnight on purpose in a long time. So it'll be fun.
Good job. Yeah. All right, man. Be well. Have a good week. I will have someone up on. Will this Thursday be our first January?
Yeah,
it will. Okay, I think this will start. We'll kick off our video game January.
Ooh, yes,
this will be great.
I'm
excited.
Next
theme month. Yeah, we did. November was DIY publishers, and then this January will be our video game month. I think I have 4. I think I have them in the can, or if not, close to all being in the can.
Nice, love it.
I can do this. This will work. This will be fun.
All right.
I need to redo. Yeah. Wait. I don't know if I'm going to get everything done I want to have done. Let's say I should do like an 8-bit kind of version of the theme song. Some kind of like do 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 do.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
I can do that. Yeah. It's only this.
Just put it in AI. So take your thing and go make this into 8-bit AI.
Yes.
And the AI goes, of course, Randy, I'm here to help you
do everything,
make your life easier.
We will see. But yeah, we'll be in video game January for the next episode. Here it comes. All right.
Perfect.
See ya. Bye.
Later.